rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am, of course, your host, Rick. I got a little behind in my setup because I was paying attention to the chat. So it's all your guys' fault that I'm running behind. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It's because I just apparently can't multitask very well, which is a misnomer. Multitasking is a misnomer. You can't multitask. It is physically impossible. They have already proven this, okay? You may think you do, but no. Anyway. Yeah, I know. Isn't it great to see the bars back? The bars in the background. The bars in the background. Anyway. All right, folks. Yeah, off the rails. I know. That's just, maybe that's what I should rename this show. Maybe I should just name it Off the Rails. No, it's not going to go there. I might have an episode called Off the Rails, but anyway. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance is done by one of our favorites. It is Coco, Cam, and Sean. That's right. Coco, Cam, and Sean. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sean is normally a nonverbal autistic. Great young fellow. And I'm going to call him young because he is young to me. But he is a great young fellow, and he just gets so excited when reciting the pledge that, he has to join in. And so that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear him in the beginning. You're going to hear him kind of drop to his normal nonverbal autistic self, and then you're going to hear him at the end. And we love Sean. Everybody over here is like lighting everything off. Oh, so David over in Facebook land. I think you might be all alone. I'm not sure. But David over in Facebook land posted a note and says, start a second podcast called Off the Rails. Now, that would be nice. I just don't have the time. I barely keep up with this one and all the other stuff that I got. But anyway, we just love Sean. We love Coco. We love Cam. And so if you are of mind, please stand, remove your hats if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Coco, Cam, and of course, Sean, as they recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And of course, thank you for all three of you for submitting that wonderful pledge to be played here on the program. If you would like to hear your pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style or reciting it, performing it, however. I mean, you can put it to music, you can do whatever. And then take that audio file or video file, whichever kind of file it is, attach it to an email address, and send it off to me. Send it to fans. Email it to me. Email it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans at AmericanPerspective.online. And it's fantastic because Coco D, insert name here, showed up just at the very appropriate time right before that started. So anyway, all right, let's talk about tonight's headline sponsor, which of course is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence and the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community to get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Now, I have a special thing to announce tonight to make known to all of you folks who are looking at this. They have a new book out. It is for the USA 250th birthday, which is 1 year and 1 day away. The 250th birthday of the United States is 1 year and not even 1 day. It's not even a full day. It's like mere hours away right now, because we are going to celebrate the 249th anniversary birthday of our country. Well, what better way to celebrate 250 years than picking up this book? This book is the Declaration of Independence mini course. It is a course book that is put together. And why am I telling you about it right now? Because of the fact that it is on sale for $17.76. So if you go to iotc.americanperspective.online, and then once you arrive at their website, go to store and go to study material, course and student materials, I'm sorry. So go to stores, course and student materials, and you can click on that, and then down toward the bottom, you'll find this book. It is USA 250, the Declaration of Independence mini course. It's a fantastic opportunity to grab something. It's normally $25. They are selling it for a very limited time at $17.76. That's $17.76 is the sale. Pick one of these up and learn about the history leading up to declaring independence and the words within the Declaration of Independence, and where we got the idea that our rights come from the following 3 points. There is a God, our rights come from him, and the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. It is the Declaration of Independence that started this entire idea of the United States of America. And the Constitution helped affirm that after we had the Articles of Confederation in between, where things didn't quite work out. But the Declaration of Independence started the entire thing. So go to iotc.americanperspective.online, go in the upper bar, go to store and course and see, I already lost it. Course and student materials. Go to course and student materials and pick up this USA 250, the Declaration of Independence mini course. And you will learn about the Declaration of Independence line by line, truth by truth, as you go through the document and the history behind each grievance. We're preparing here in this country to celebrate 250 years of existence on this planet, the greatest country that has ever graced this planet. And we need to learn, we need to restudy and reanalyze and relearn all of our history. This is a great book to start with. The USA 250 Declaration of Independence mini course, on sale now for $17.76. Like I said, go to iotc.americanperspective.online, and in the upper menu bar, go to store and courses and student materials. You'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll find the Declaration of Independence mini course book for $17.76. And if you go through it that way, I'll get credit, meaning that my affiliate link will work doing with that. Okay. So do it today if you can, because this is only for a limited time and it's a fantastic book, fantastic course. I'm actually thinking of grabbing the instructor kit, which is on sale for $25. And potentially doing something with that. But anyway, go to iotc.americanperspective.online. You'll get redirected to the Institute on the Constitution. Go to store up in the menu bar, click on courses and student materials, and you'll be able to get a hold of that book. It's a great companion, by the way, to the Constitution of the United States. Right here. Woohoo. Which, of course, I normally sell, but or normally promote, but yeah. Do this. This is a fantastic book. Fantastic book, fantastic learning materials, and that's what they do. So I thank them for allowing me to be a brand affiliate. All right, enough about that. But it's seriously a fantastic book. All right, who's going to celebrate Independence Day tomorrow by watching The Patriot? Anyone? Bueller. I know I probably will if I can find it. I keep telling myself I have to purchase it every single year, but yeah. Anyway, that would be a fantastic way to start the day. And then, of course, ending the day with some type of fireworks display, because nothing says America like exploding stuff. Whether it's sending freedom seeds or pew-pew beans downrange, or whether it's blowing something up in the sky, man, I'll tell you, that's just the way that it's America. You know, the way that America celebrates its days of independence. Just fantastic stuff. All right. So the House passed the mega bill, meaning the one big, beautiful bill. They passed it. They got it together, and it's a marathon overnight session, of which one of the morons extraordinaire, Hakeem Jeffries, stood up and spoke for what was apparently, I guess, 8 hours and 44 minutes or something like that. He set some kind of stupid record. I don't know what it was, but maybe for the longest droning on. In fact, he droned on so much that there was a Democrat sitting behind him that fell asleep, and they had to, like, pull her off camera. It's hilarious. They had to go and, like, grab her and pull her off camera so that she wouldn't, distract from the fact that Jeffries was droning on and 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 on about a whole bunch of bullshit. But anyway, so, yeah, it passed, barely clearing the House 218 to 214. The two Republicans, of course, were that one of them was Tom Massey, and the other one was, or Thomas Massey, sorry. Thomas Massey, and the other one was Brian Fitzpatrick. They joined the Democrats to vote against it. So, anyway, yeah. Hakeem Jeffries. He used a procedural tool known as the Magic Minute to speak for a record-breaking 8 hours and 44 minutes in protest of the bill. He said that the legislation was an unprecedented assault on the social safety net. Yeah, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but that social safety net is expensive, and we can't handle it anymore. We really can't. Speaking after Jeffries, according to this piece in the Epic Times, Mike Johnson jokingly put a huge binder on his lectern, a reference to what the Democratic leader was reading from during his hours-long speech. And then Johnson said, "This day is a hugely important one in the history of our nation." Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. Oh, these people. What a mess. So even though even though they did the vote, there was some procedural measures known as a rules vote that was held open for more than 5 hours overnight, as it was locked in a 207-217 vote. 5 Republicans had voted against advancing the bill. 8 other Republicans not voting at all and withholding their support. So that just kind of kept things up in the air for a while. And then, speaking to reporters at about 1:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Johnson blamed the breadth of the changes that the Senate made to the bill for the difficulties that were being made. He said, "I encouraged our Senate colleagues to make as few modifications as possible, and they made more than I frankly anticipated." So, 4 conservative representatives, Keith Self, Victoria Spartz, Andrew Clyde, and Massey had initially voted against advancing it, along with Fitzpatrick. They obviously have been critical of the bill, saying it doesn't go far enough in spending cuts and adds too much to the national debt. So anyway, the Congressional Budget Office has projected that the bill could add close to $3.3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. But the Congressional Budget Office, by the way, has been less accurate than Puxatawny Phil is in his endeavor of predicting winter and spring. Anyway, ultimately, 4 of those Republicans flipped their vote to yes, and the 8 abstaining also voted yes. Fitzpatrick was the sole Republican to vote against advancing the bill. So they started to advance the measure around 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, the result we know. So, anyway. Congratulations to Trump for getting that done. Seriously, I mean, that was like a big deal that he wanted to get it completed by July 4th. And, Thune and Johnson stepped up to the plate. They got along with him, and they went ahead and did it. And it's may not be perfect, may not cut as much as what we want, but it's still a reconciliation bill, and it is considered a victory for Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump's not done racking up the victories. Three Chevy, that's a good question. I honestly, I don't know. I'm going to have to find that out. 3 Chevy asks in the chat, why do they use 10 years as the benchmark when there will be another administration by then? That's a good question. I may have to look that up. Question of the week. Because I don't think I have one for this week. But anyway, Trump continues winning. Yes, he continues winning. And why does he continue winning? Well, it's just because he finally has I think he finally has the team that he needs, to be honest with you. I think his first round, he was a little hesitant, tried to, be not Mr. Nice Guy, tried to do, things that, as middle of the road as possible. And this time he's gone in with the right team, and he's just basically saying, yep, I'm just doing what I know needs to be done and get it taken care of. So here you go. This is in the Daily Wire. Trump effect. U.S. adds 147,000 jobs, beating projections for the 4th straight month. Yep. So the United States added 147,000 jobs in June, beating expectations for the 4th straight month, the latest economic win for President Donald Trump and his administration. Okay. The June jobs report, which was released today, shows growth across sectors as the unemployment rate fell. Let me say that again. Fell. It dropped to 4.1%, which is the lowest that it's been since, February. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt celebrated the news and promised that the economy would continue to boom if Congress passes the One Big Beautiful Bill, which they did. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But Jobs Creators Network CEO Alfredo Ortiz credited President Trump's strategy for the growth. He told Fox News, hats off to President Trump because this three-legged stool of his has really been powerful. The trade, the taxes, and deregulations together. He said it's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. Now, the original increase projected by the Dow Jones was only going to be 110,000. Well, then that was later revised to 144,000, and we ended up with the actual number of 147,000. Now, I seem to recall another president not too long ago, not even a full year ago, that always had to revise his job numbers down. So I wonder if these job numbers are going to actually be revised upward, or if they're even revised at all. But anyway, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that there was little change in mining, quarrying, oil and gas extraction, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, retail trade, transportation, warehousing, information, financial activities, professional and business and leisure and hospitality industries since last month. Now, what's interesting, though, is we gained 147,000 jobs, but the federal government lost 7,000 jobs last month. Now, think about that for a second. So that actually means that the federal government lost 7,000. We gained 147,000. So does that actually mean that we gained 154,000? I mean, does that seriously? We lost 7,000, but anyway. I digress. I know. I'm just kidding. It doesn't mean anything. But there has been a total decrease in government jobs of 69,000 jobs since January. Average hourly pay increased by 8 cents, meaning the average hourly pay is $36.30, a 3.7% increase since this time last year. So just last year, between then and now, we've gained 3.7%. That wasn't what we were hearing with Joe Biden. Yeah. So here we go. This is another one. Now, here is the big one. Now, you seem to recall, or at least I do, because my memory is a little bit longer than your average leftist, for sure. But Biden's job numbers that he inflated came from certain sectors. And one of those things is that his jobs went to foreign-born workers. Well, according to the jobs report, native-born, and I'm not talking about Native Americans as in American Indians, I'm talking about native-born meaning home, people live here, citizens, native people to America. Native-born employment is up more than 2 million since just January, the Council of Economic Advisors stated on social media. Foreign-born employment is now down more than 500,000. The council also said for the same months last year, foreign-born workers accounted for about 48% of the new jobs. Yeah. So this is an incredible deal, that native-born employment is up and foreign-born employment is down. So there you go. There you go. The study from the Center of Immigration Studies released on June 2024 found that the majority of employment growth since the pandemic went to legal and illegal immigrants. Even though former President Joe Biden touted the millions of jobs created for throughout his presidency, only 1/4 of those actually went to native-born workers. So Donald Trump not only increased jobs, but he increased them for Americans. Gee, I wonder where that might have come from. You know, that America First policy that he has. Cry in your freaking beers this weekend, leftists. Cry in your freaking beers. And speaking about crying, CNN had a fantastic reaction to the June jobs report. Let's go ahead and take a listen to it. Here it is.
With a Fox News alert, the June jobs report just released, and it shows the U.S. added 147,000 jobs last month. That is...
My bad. Wrong one. That was the Fox News report. Here's the CNN one.
You expected some of this, but this is better than expected?
Yeah, Sarah, it is. Look, this jobs market is like the Energizer Bunny. Every single time we expect it to run out of steam, it just keeps going and going. So these new numbers show that the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was well ahead of the expectation of about 118,000, well ahead of some whispers that we heard on Wall Street of a sub 100,000 number. So this is indeed beating expectations. We were also expecting a slowdown. We did not get that. This is basically in line with May, which was revised higher. It's also good news. The unemployment rate was expected to go up. It didn't. It went down to 4.1%. That is a very healthy number. This is still relatively historically low. And again, it's below the 4.3% that we had expected.
Did you hear that, guys? This is CNN guy. This is a CNN individual who is saying this is like this economy is like the Energizer Bunny. For those of you that may not know the reference, you keep going and going and going. That's right. It just keeps going, folks. This economy that was supposed to be, the doomsday sayers were freaking out about it, going, oh my gosh, he's going to die. No, tariffs haven't wrecked the economy. Inflation is still dropping. Unemployment is dipping. What does that come down to? Well, Trump and his America First policies and MAGA, Make America Great Again, is saving the country. Now, just remember, as a part of that big, beautiful bill, we now have the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act cuts being made permanent. They were permanent. They were made permanent just this week, or just last night, actually. So, yeah, hang on. Here's another one from CNN. Take a listen to this.
Since, March and before, there were predictions that the tariffs, now granted, a lot of them have been pulled back, most of them have been pulled back, but all that tariff policy was going to lead perhaps to inflation, would lead to job losses. The predictions of doom, that doom just hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened. And, John, I've been doing a lot of reporting on this topic. And what I'm hearing is that for the last few years, really since COVID, but even before, companies have realized that their supply chains can be interrupted for lots of reasons, for a virus, for a geopolitical event, for a war, for a climate event. And so they've been using technology to really streamline things. They've been getting their systems in place, and there's just a lot more efficiency in the system now. In some ways, I think this is a triumph of business and how business has been optimizing. Now, that said, when we think about who's going to do well in this period, it's going to be big businesses. I am hearing that there's more pressure on small and mid-sized businesses that will be far less able to cope with whatever tariff inflationary impact we do see. That concerns me because small and mid-sized businesses are what fuels a lot of communities around the country. If you see them going under because they can't take even a little bit of tariff pressure, that could have a jobs impact. So again,
she just has to rain, or she has to rain on the parade. She has to say, oh yeah, tariffs. Except the tariff stuff hasn't really hit yet, folks. I mean, seriously. Let's go. Let's just go. Let's make America great again, okay? Well, America and Trump are racking up so many freaking points that, well, there was a corporate news anchor that sort of admitted that, well, this might, we might have something, going here. Let's take a listen to this guy.
Both Republicans and Democrats are facing the cold, hard truth that Trump might be unstoppable. Whether you like him or whether you don't like him, you need to look realistically at what he's doing and how quickly he's doing it. The Trump archives are a series of near impossible feats that we have been told. The Israelis have agreed to a ceasefire deal in Gaza that would bring home the hostages. Hamas has not agreed. Like all Mideast peace deals, it's fragile, but there is progress. Here at home, just today, the University of Pennsylvania announced something that they said they never would, a change to its policy on trans athletes. Men will no longer be allowed to play on women's sports teams. It seems obvious, right? But a couple of years ago, if you said that, you were a bigot. Penn, of course, is where the biological male, Leah Thomas, made a mockery of swimming records. That is no more. The border is closed. We were told that it couldn't be done by Joe Biden. Without congressional action, Trump did it. The big, beautiful bill just passed the Senate. Trump's more politically powerful than ever, even more powerful than when we told you yesterday that he's the most powerful modern president. Again, this is not cheerleading. This is telling you what is happening and why it matters to you. And this bill for Donald Trump is a critical step. Bill O'Reilly told us last night that Trump's entire legacy is tied up in whether the bill passes both the Senate and the House.
Which it did.
What I think is interesting is you say this is a must make or break moment right now for Donald Trump in these days.
Yeah, I'm right as usual, and you're wrong. Because if a recession hits, Donald Trump's second term is over. He'll lose the midterms, he'll lose Congress, he'll get nothing done, he'll go down in history as a failed president.
Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, there's the voice of reason. Anyway, this is a very long clip, so I'm not going to spend any more time on it. But yeah, there you go. Donald Trump. Win after win after win after win. We have any more winning? Oh, yeah. We have a little bit more winning. Let me tell you about it here in just a second. This is a new one for me for tonight. Blockbuster Health. Blockbuster Health. Now, there is a huge connection between President Trump and his recent drug pricing policies and what this ad is going to be talking about, okay? We need to ask Americans who feel ripped off by high drug prices. You need to check out Blockbuster Health. So, are you tired of paying outrageous prices for your medications while other countries pay a fraction of the cost? President Trump just signed the executive order to fix this problem, but why wait? BlockbusterHealth.com is already offering Americans these savings right now. We're talking up to 80% off the exact same medications that you're already taking. Same brands, same quality, just fair prices. Whether it's Ozempic, insulin, or any other prescription, Blockbuster Health connects you directly with licensed pharmacies that offer international pricing. No middleman, no markup, just honest prices. Call 1-888-350-1353. Again, call 1-888-350-1353 or visit blockbusterhealth.com. Again, call 1-888-350-1353 or visit blockbusterhealth.com to find out more details. Americans shouldn't have to choose between their health and their wallet. Go and check it out today. 1-888-530-1353 or visit blockbusterhealth.com. All right. So, are we tired of winning yet? No, I'm not tired of winning. I want to keep winning. I want to keep winning. I want to win, and then I want to win some more. And I want to keep on winning. I don't want the winning to end at all. Well, guess what? You remember how everybody was saying, oh, yeah, Canada's not going to bend to Donald Trump. Canada's not going to bend to Donald Trump. They just got this new guy by the name of Mark Carney. He's not going to bend to Donald Trump. Really? He's not. According to this article in the National Post, under pressure from Trump, Canada is passing what's called a Strong Borders Act. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has introduced the Strong Borders Act, which is Bill C-2, a 127-page bill poised to overhaul Canada's immigration framework. The bill includes measures to deny refugee hearings to migrants who have already been in the country for over a year, retroactive to June of 2020, and requires asylum seekers arriving between official ports of entry to file within 14 days. These changes come after President Trump expressed displeasure over illegal immigrants and fentanyl crossing America's northern border due to lax Canadian policies. Despite fighting the recent Canadian federal elections on a platform of standing up to Trump, Carney's governing is seemingly being brought to heel by Trump, having already agreed to suspending the digital sales tax that the America First leader took issue with. Folks, look, Canada cannot survive realistically very easily without America. America can do just fine without Canada. And that's the way it goes for just about every other place, for the most part, on this planet. And they know it. They know it. Canada is dependent upon us buying their products, just like Mexico. Mexico is dependent upon the U.S. to buy their products. We are a consumer-based society. We consume a lot of products. We consume them from all over the world. And when we stop consuming them, the rest of the world can feel it. And so this is, again, another win and another feather in the cap of Donald Trump. So, there you go. I mean, look, leftists, you morons, you really are, you're so stupid, you don't understand anything. You don't understand the Constitution. You don't understand, they were going off, by the way. Oh my gosh, they were going off about, I saw this one poster in particular was sitting there going off about the fact that the SCOTUS was non-constitutional anymore. That they were doing things that were against the Constitution. They were destroying the Constitution, especially in the latest decisions that just came down. It's a bunch of bunk. This is probably, in my lifetime anyway, probably the closest to a constitutionalist court that I've ever seen after paying attention, I mean, seriously, I haven't seen the court be this leaning more toward the Constitution now than it has in modern history for the most part. Anyway, well, this, of course, makes the Democrats and the leftists very angry. And so what do? They take it out on people who literally don't deserve it. Well, and not to mention the fact that they also push and radicalize others to do their bidding as well. This article in The Populist, blood on radical Dems' hands, new data reveals a shocking surge in attacks on federal officers. So Democrats supporting illegal aliens and anti-ICE rioters, there's a report out that there is a surge in 700% more attacks on federal ICE officers. Now, this is following, of course, Democrats publicly inciting violence against them. In June, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries stated that the identities of all ICE officers would be made public, which is crap. They shouldn't need to. They should. Why would it matter? But anyway, he he mentioned that. Tampon Tim Walz even compared ICE to the Gestapo. He said, quote, Donald Trump's modern day Gestapo is scooping up folks off the street. Yeah. Now, while the Democrats have not explicitly called for attacks on federal ICE officers, the implication has been clear. What they see as an almost constant demonization of ICE officers from both the media and politicians. And this is from Fox News's Bill Malugin. He said, and now the brand new data shows that ICE officers are facing a nearly 700% increase in assaults when compared to the same period last year. That's right. This is just absolutely unreal. And in that other note, you'll recall I was talking to you about the Ice Block app. Well, guess what? Apparently, it's now being hijacked by pro-ICE activists. Wait, what? So, according to, let's see. Yeah, where is this? Well, because of the fact that the app was advertised by CNN and doing that, pro-ICE activists have found a way to use this crowdfunding app to clear their neighborhoods and various locations elsewhere of illegal aliens. I kind of thought this was going to happen. They started reporting ICE activities at the sorts of places where ICE or where illegal aliens used to hang out. And so, yeah, here's how. According to this this account called We Are Not Britain on X, it says it will keep a 5-mile radius of you clear of illegals. Always enter the addresses of any Home Depots, Lowe's, or any other building supply stores near your location. Enter all the addresses of Mexican restaurants. Enter all the addresses of plumbing and electrical contractors. Enter all the addresses of major shopping areas. Sit back and drink some iced tea to watch the fun. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I mean, anybody with really smart intelligence anyway. So, yeah, this is basically because of the fact that the app doesn't know if someone's reporting about real ICE activity or fake ICE activity. So, yeah, there's no way to know basically on this crowdfunding act. Yeah. So, yeah. I told you this was potentially going to happen, that people were gonna, they're gonna grab this app and start reporting things, fake stuff. So, but, yeah. Anyway, by doing this, of course, keep in mind that also is helping from that last article that's keeping some ICE agents protected, because now people are going to be like going to fake ICE locations and everything else, and they're not going to get their satisfaction of like attacking them and so on and so forth. That's just, I mean, I was wondering if that was going to happen, but that's just funny. Morons. Now let's just go ahead and announce a crowdfunding app. And, it's totally anonymous too. So anybody can download it. It doesn't gather any information about these people, and it doesn't verify any of you just say it. I kind of feel like that's sort of what you would do with maybe even at like a traffic stop. Like some people just drop in Waze. Some people just say, hey, there's a copper here, because I've never seen a police officer when I've been notified by Waze. Just so you know. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, we have a new report from the Intelligence Community Assessment. Sorry. There's a new CIA report that's out, and that wasn't it. I read the wrong line. Anyway, there was a new CIA report that was completed on June 26th of 2025 that provides a detailed internal review of the ICA, which I told you about, the Intelligence Community Assessment that was issued on December 30th of 2016 regarding Russia's efforts to essentially influence the 2016 election. The agency released a copy of the report to the New York Post, and the new report examines the procedural practices across the various intelligence agencies used to compile the ICA, which claimed that Russian President Putin aspired to help Donald Trump win the election. That ICA also promoted the lie that Trump collaborated with the Kremlin to influence the election's outcome. The CIA's report notes that agents rushed to compile the assessment, possibly for political purposes. The new report says CIA's primary authors had less than a week to draft the assessment and less than 2 days to formally coordinate it with IC peers before it entered the formal reviews process. One IC stakeholder put it bluntly, multiple IC stakeholders said they felt jammed by a compressed timeline. Another lead CIA author was surprised that the review process had resulted in so few changes, which was unusual for such a lengthy, complex, and high-profile assessment. So this explosive report demonstrates how desperate the Obama administration was and how they wanted to push the Russian collusion hoax. Yeah. So, yeah. The CIA's review in this new report revealed that only a small group of contributors to the original ICA report were allowed to access the most sensitive intelligence, which limited debate on the information. The document read, the product spanned multiple CIA compartments and included restricted access FBI information. Multiple ICA participants had access to intelligence that others did not. One CIA manager called the process chaotic due to the disparities in how agents were able to access critical information. Yeah, John Brennan, then CIA director, played a prominent role in shaping the content of that report. This new report states that this level of involvement from someone in Brennan's position was unusual. Quote, agency heads chose to marginalize the National Intelligence Council, departing significantly from standard procedures for formal IC assessments. Gee, I wonder what that means. Maybe that there was a political motivation to get this done? The authors also pointed out that Brennan told the White House the CIA would take the lead in drafting the report and that the collaboration would only involve the IDNI, CIA, FBI, and NSA. The report highlighted that how atypical it is for top leadership to be involved in the drafting of a report like this. It was also markedly unconventional to have agency heads review and sign off on a draft before it was submitted to the NIC for review. The NIC did not receive or even see the final draft until just hours before the ICA was due to be published, this new report said. Yeah. Two officials also took issue with Brennan's insistence that the ICA should conclude that Putin aspired to influence the election. In other words, folks, basically this new CIA report is pretty much pointing out that, yeah, this whole thing was a Russian collusion fake. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. Yeah. Even further in the report, in this new report, even further, the FBI insisted on including information from a widely debunked Steele dossier, which contained a tranche of unsubstantiated and blatantly false claims about Trump and his relationship to the Russian government. The ICA authors and multiple senior CIA managers strongly opposed including the dossier, asserting that it did not even meet the most basic tradecraft standards. Yeah. Yep. In fact, the deputy director for analysis told John Brennan directly that the dossier risked the credibility of the entire ICA paper. Yeah. Yep. God. They put it together and they put it out there, and yeah, the conclusion basically is that yes, they wanted to push the Russian collusion hoax. That's ultimately what they wanted. And they got it. All right. Well, let's move over to the international desk. No surprise here. Iran has formalized their divorce with the IAEA. So they pretty much basically said that, yeah, we're done. They signed a parliamentary bill into law yesterday, ending all cooperation with the IAEA. Not like the IAEA was actually getting much cooperation from them anyway. So I don't think this really changes much of anything. It just formalizes the fact that Iran now, instead of, kind of sort of hoping to, take the IAEA and run them around in the countryside, and that, at least now they basically say, yeah, we're done. We're done. So the Iranian parliament, which acts only to implement the wishes of the supreme leader, passed a bill last week that would allow Tehran's cooperation with the IAEA. That would outlaw, not allow, but outlaw Tehran's cooperation with the IAEA. And this, of course, was expected because of the response that they were giving about the agency revealing that the country had violated its commitments. Bill required the president's signature, however, to become law, which came on Wednesday. So, yeah. This is just, basically all this is just Iran announcing to the world, yeah, we're no longer going to work with the international community, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing, which means that they'll probably get bombed again. Honestly, that's probably what that means. So, anyway. I don't know why anybody sits here and thinks that Iran was on the up and up or anything like that anyway. They really weren't. Honestly. All right. Let's see here. Oh, there is a rally going on, and President Trump is speaking right now. So let me go ahead and go to him really quick in the final moments of the show tonight. By the way, because I'll probably end the show fairly quickly, I am not going to transmit tomorrow. I hope you all have a happy Independence Day. That is what it is Independence Day. And, yeah, let's go America, 249 years. I will see you on Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So here's President Trump.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No, it is an honor. You've been with me from the beginning. It was without doubt. In fact, I had some moments when I said maybe they might not, fake stories were put out there like, I don't like corn. I don't like corn. I love corn. But they give you fake news. I said, you think that's going to hurt me? And my numbers went up. I don't know. I can't figure you people out. This evening, we're officially launching America 250, an enormous year-long nationwide celebration of our heritage. It's really also a celebration of our flag, our great American flag, and our glorious American freedom. Did anybody see the beautiful flag I put up in front of the White House? Right? Everyone's liking it. Everyone's liking it. I actually put two up. I put one in the front and one in the back. I didn't want to go too crazy. I thought that would be enough. They're big. They're about as big as you can get. We're proud of it. We will be announcing many more details in the weeks to come, but there are just some of the things that we have planned. And I have to say, first, in honor of the wonderful tradition of fairgrounds like this one, this is a great fairground. As you know, I've been here before. We will be orchestrating what we're calling the Great American State Fair, and it will start right here in Iowa. Right? So we're starting it off in Iowa. Now we're starting it off at your great fairgrounds, and we're going to have a big crowd just like we do tonight. That's a big crowd. I can't even see the end of it. So thank you back there. I'd like to move the press back so they could see better. But the Great American State Fair will bring America 250 programming to fairgrounds across the country, culminating in a giant patriotic festival next summer on the National Mall, featuring exhibits from all 50 states, and all 50 states are excited, and I was excited. You know, when I did the 250, there was nothing I could do. It was 250, it was 250, so I can't say that was my baby. The country happened to be 250 years old, but what I did do is during my first term, I got the Olympics, and I got the great soccer, you know, that whole deal, right? We call it soccer, they call it football. I got them both. I got the Olympics. First, I got the Olympics, and I got it. I was president, and I said, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame. I got the World Cup, and I have the Olympics, and I did it. And you have no idea. President Obama didn't want to make a call to the Olympics. You know why? Because he went to Switzerland or wherever, and he said, you know, if a president goes to get the Olympics, you have to have a deal. You have to be chosen. He went there and he came in fourth, so he hated them, I guess. And he was unwilling to make a call, and they called me up. Democrats called me up, actually, from Los Angeles, and I said, I'll do it. I made the call, and I couldn't get the people off the phone because they were so starved for love. Because nobody would call them from. Anyway, we made a deal. I got the Olympics. Then we got the World Cup with Johnny. We got the World Cup, and I got them both. And I looked at my people. I said, isn't it a shame? I got these two, but it wasn't in the next 4 years. It was right after that and the one after that. And I got the Olympics. I got the World Cup, and we also have 250, so it's a pretty wild term. But I got these two things that are incredible. Nobody else could have done it. I'm telling you, everybody wanted it. Nobody could have done it. And I said, and I won't be president, because I'll be president for 4 more years, but it won't be. And then they cheated and rigged the election. They rigged. You know, they don't even turn off the cameras when I say that now, because now they know it's true too. But they knew it was true before. Remember, the cameras used to immediately turn off. You see all those beautiful red lights go off. Now I can say whatever I want because then they know it's true. But they knew it was true before. It's fake news. That's what they call it. But you know what? This term is much more consequential than if I had done it the more traditional way. This was slightly harder, believe me. It's slightly more dangerous because there are criminals on the other side that tried to put your president in jail and went after him, just like they do in third world countries. And we all beat him together. We beat him because our level of popularity was so high. And it was high because I explained the situation. When these thugs came around, I explained it to the people. And fortunately, I was able to be on a lot of television, I did whatever you had to do. I had to explain it. Then they said, wow, that's fake stuff. It was fake. They're a bunch of bad people, but we kicked their ass, and we're going to continue to do well.
All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free, and once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up or thumbs down if you really want to across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you Saturday night 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your Independence Day holiday. Have fun, but be safe. Have a great rest of your evening. Good night, everybody.